What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part, I want to say 23 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Skarbrand the Exiled Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, well, it wasn't technically the debut of the Skull Cannons per se, as we've had used them many a time from our blood hosts. This was the debut of having a bunch of them together in the same army, and damn well did it work well, as the poor Wood Elven stag got absolutely annihilated in glorious blood and skull cannon carnage. We are also, just to double check real quick, okay, we got, can't really afford those fire glaives as yet, but might as well put a few more in here, plus the heroes, and we'll be probably pretty good. Should only probably need one chaos cultist in here. In fact, I'm actually inclined to say, wait, Eddie, come here for a minute. Oh, wow, what the heck, our money. Right. Okay, we'll need to fix that situation, and in fact, I do believe there is at least one method of doing that right now. Moxia Scion Slayer, you and your piles of Forsaken and Minotaurs and Gorgons versus tiny little pile of gobs, just because we can. Let's summon stance you up, let's move you on in. They'll run, I'm sure. You obviously still need your heroes, but, well, we'll get there. And I might remove 2 of the Minotaurs because this might be a little bit too many. But anyway, the absolute slaughter that's going to happen here is going to be, well, unfortunate for the poor Ironclaw orcs. Go. Alright, now that's what I call a Khorne battle cry. No need for words, just incoherent bellowing. Anyway, here we go. The Forsaken and Cows army, essentially, up and running. I think the Forsaken, by virtue of having no melee defense and being, I'd say, significantly more fragile than the Khorne Gores, will keep it rather interesting. Anyway, the bully boys charge on in first, the anti-infantry twin axes, starting to mince those poor little gobs as the Forsaken move in behind them. Frankly, this army has a ton of anti-large, so I think the great weapon variant of the Minotaurs may not be necessary, but anyway. They are, however, dealing with the squig herds just fine here, and frankly, the enemy line is going to buckle extremely rapidly at this pace. We got the single unit of Bulgors that we borrowed from the Beastmen, and they do have the Mark of Khorne, so they certainly fit in with our army, as well as the 2 extra Gorgons to help the Bloodbrute Behemoth. That said, they won't be helping here for too long, as the bounce power is already about 90% in our favor, and we only fought this battle because, I mean, it was right there. And it's a new army. Alright. Although I was thinking about maybe making the Demon Prince command the flying army rather than exalted bloodthirster. I gotta see what the exalted bloodthirster buffs, because the buffs for air units that the mortal units get, that the demon prince also confers, seems to be better than those of the demonic units, because they get 8 melee defense. So unless there's something in the exalted bloodthirster's unique line that makes them better for it, the demon prince would be the better flying commander. But anyway, I digress. The poor little gob's still having a very bad day here. And by the looks of it, only the squig herds remain. I believe they are unbreakable, I want to say. Yes, they are unbreakable. Huh, those 4 squig herds always unbreakable? I guess they just keep biting until they die, which kind of makes sense. And Khorne can appreciate that. And funnily enough, squig herds would kind of work with our color scheme now that I think about it, if we really wanted it. And we could have perhaps gotten a few of them, but then we have flesh hounds, so yeah. And I think in single player and campaign, I don't really care that much for the, I'm thinking about Mangler squigs. They're kind of, you know, suicide attack units, so you're incentivized essentially to send them in and have them destroyed, but you really don't want to do that, generally speaking, in the campaign. But anyway, I digress. With that, the poor little gobs break. The last of the unbreakable squigs lie broken at the feet of the cows and the Forsaken. That's Alrighty, there we go. Unsurprisingly, that was pretty darn brutal. Good job to one of the squig herds for knocking out a fair few of those Forsaken. Perhaps unsurprisingly, because again, our Forsaken of Khorne have like 10 melee defense or something like that, and are thusly going to be in desperate need of exalted heroes to give them command or chaos command or whatever the defense thing is. Yeah, and frankly, even some of the Minotaurs took a little bit of damage, but obviously didn't lose any models against piles of gobs. It's the squigs that were the threat. I guess we... Oh, wow. Decent amount of skulls out of that. Although this army is probably going to need to devour captives for the additional campaign movement range. And there is that to consider as well. And hey, a free talisman of preservation. Well, Moxia, you already have one, so I guess that'll go on somebody else. You can then move... I guess move this way. The Karakazor. If an enemy army attacks you, well, I wish it luck. That we are getting for... Oh, hello, it's Belagar Ironhammer. His main stack, is he moving to reclaim Karakazor, perhaps? Adjacent provinces, there are rats around as well, go figure. We did take Myrmidon, so that doesn't matter. Kuchar, you're in range of Xerixil, which is something of an army, but I think this is probably the only stack that Belagar has, so it might be worth fighting this just because we're here. I'm gonna think about it. You, Vashnar, are going through Blackfire Pass. This was always going to be the case. We could have you sit in Akendor for a bit, but probably also doesn't matter over much. And what do you have? Ooh, hello, it's Peter Hartman. With actually a fairly decent army, this is a good opportunity for him to try to declare war on us and have a nice little artillery shootout. You have a menace, and you have a violent killer. You are a violent killer, whatever. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do here is this. We'll take this Battlemaster. We'll put you into Eddie's army. Eddie, we're gonna send you here. You're gonna be fighting the rats shortly. Good amount of Squighorn. But we'll take Angra of the Vargs out, and we're gonna swap him into Vashnar's army instead, because he has the Menace trait with that Tormentor sword, which would be much more useful to the pike and shot than this. Whereas here, the Chaos Commander will allow these guys to confirm more melee defense on the Forsaken, which again, yeah. And we'll do the same thing here. I did just build 2 armies with more Forsaken, but that's because we haven't been using Forsaken throughout the entire campaign, and thusly they will need a little bit more screen time, you know, to make up for lost time and all that. Now, Kuchar, what do we have here? 1 point available. You have Savage Bloodlust for the Flushhounds. I have not decided what other things exactly are going to be in your army, so I think maybe we'll just wait on that. And what about Karanak? You've got 5 points. Now, that's nice. That's real nice. Let's get you Bone Gnar, a little bit of extra anti-large, not useful against the dwarfs, generally speaking, with the exception of some Rune Lords, but otherwise, still a nice thing to have, I suppose. You can go through Cleave and start going through Maim, since there are no more defensive traits left. Alrighty, I guess we're attacking you then. You are allied with nobody. Huh, we could ask, oh, they're fighting the Wood Elves. Yeah, that's how Chaos gets you. Declare war. And we want to call our allies to help for this. I think they'll be dead in 2 turns, so I think there isn't any need. Plus, I don't want Malagor to take this iron, so... Ooh, actually, wait 1 second. Before we do that, since this campaign is coming to a close in the next couple of episodes, I think we're not going to attack the Disciples of Hashut then. There isn't too much point, and we'll try to vassalize them instead. So let's do this. We'll give them Plesk for vassalage, like so. Some factions might dislike us for... Yeah, whatever, just do it. Alrighty. We could have done it for a defensive alliance as well, but I just wanted to make sure that we got all their stuff. And, oh! Yeah, look at that. I'm very proud of Vlad for being up all in the mountains here. We will build the structure at Uzkalak for obvious reasons. The outpost, that is. Then... the main thing we want is to make sure that we get the Temple of Heimkel. So, Temple of Heimkel for Volksgrad will work. And what about for Frozen Landing? I don't really care about either one. We can do Frozen Landing. Wait, can we cancel anything at Frozen Landing? We can. Cancel the Dark Bastion here. And we'll trade Frozen Landing for Temple of Heimkel. We're not going to take your money, keep it. Alrighty, and then this one we do want to keep for ourselves because it has iron, but otherwise, yeah. Basically, if it's iron, if it's gold, if it's furs, then it's stuff we want because it gives us faction-wide army buffs, minor though they are. Well, not gold, it's upkeep reduction, but anyway. But otherwise, we can just let these guys have the territory. I would give them Volksgrad as well, and probably Prague. Marble doesn't really do anything for us. Oh, the Khorne corruption ain't so bad. There isn't really any need to hold it, or, well, actually... We can hold Kislev because it has furs, so yeah. Funnily enough, it's a yellow territory rather than Prague. But anyway, what do we have at Prague defenses-wise? For our Bob. I guess we could sack it. You know what, and go to this side. See if you can't reach Fortress Strask or Help It from here. Oh, this is also useful, so we can grab Help It. Go to Prague. Then... you know, wait here for a moment. I may or may not forget this, but... I could assault the walls, but it's not that crazy or anything like that. I will consider it. Skarby. Okay, so you're in a blob with all of these guys, but you're supposed to meet up with several other armies. Also, Graal Karnalitas, you're gonna go into Granti Mingol, and I was gonna say you should recruit your... Wait, do we still have the recruit thing? Yeah, we do. Bread and Bloodshed. Alright, recruit your... Soul Grinder. Then we'll get 2 more Soul Grinders in a few more turns, and I guess keep recruiting Skull Cannons. I don't know if we'll have time, but I might want to do a Generalist army for a Demon Prince, potentially. You, Kiarl, yeah, you're supposed to meet up with these guys to transfer them the units and let them go off and do their own thing. And in Karnath, you are what? You are a Battlemaster Blood Reaper. Probably would be good in anywhere where there would be piles of infantry. I'm gonna say like Tavi's army. This makes sense to me. Because he'll have that pile of Skull Reapers as his main line, and not Wrathmongers, because 6 would be too many for Wrathmongers because they're too strong. Plus the Knights, obviously, and... I mean, I'd like to put a couple Slaughter Brutes in here, potentially, but he's good with the Cygors as well, so I think it's fine. Yeah, increase mobility for Tavi, please. Alright, he's not quite ready, he's just waiting for the Chaos Knights to come around, and we got Chaos Knights here, good. Alrighty, so in the meantime, all y'all, you can... which way do we want to travel? I guess we'll meet up here? Depends on if we want to send Skarbrand himself to Athel-Loren, but he's a little bit busy right now, and... Oh, we're still suffering the attrition? Okay, wait. Major Rager. Go sack Tor Serpendar. As I recall, it was worth a fair bit of cash. So go here and go to Tor Serpendar, and we'll see if we can't hit Uotech from here as well. Like so. And auto-resolve in a second. I just want to get the other army to move in, and then we'll use the Gore Masters to occupy it, since we have plenty of skulls. And last episode, we reached the 40,000 skulls necessary, so that's basically... if not our final objective, it's essentially our final objective, so yeah. Now it's just to have a few more fun battles, a little bit more blood, a little bit more skulls for Khorne, and everybody's happy. Auto-resolve, a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy, and then sack it for the cash, like so. Mission successful as well. And there's another Standard of Chaos Glory. That's actually a nice one because it confers an aura. I will think about which army that can go into. You can occupy Tor Serpendar, Gore Masters. Like so. And then I do believe you are no longer necessary. I mean, I guess we could use you to occupy you. Well, we could just raise you attack. Wait, wait, actually, this has casual troop. Yeah, we should get this. These are pretty good, the Medicine Enclaves. Alright, fine. You know what? Just stay around there. You are able to reach Uotech. We'll go unoccupied. You can't reinforce, unfortunately. And then we'll see what these guys do. Auto-resolve because it's garbage, and then rather than raising or sacking, we'll just immediately occupy it for the lovely medicine thing. And we'll switch you to a Soul Keep. Orbe's Chariot for Vashnar. No, wait. Which one's Vashnar? Oh, this one? No. And if anything, you will be... I'm gonna say on a regular Chaos Steed for now. I might even put you on foot. Since we don't have any lords on foot as yet, though I don't know how much mileage we'd get out of you being on foot, considering, you know, with pike and shot, there's a decent likelihood that nobody ever actually gets close enough to threaten you. Alright, these guys are good, and our money situation is now good, which means Skarby and the Blob dibs on the band name, are free to move. I guess we'll move you out here, Skarbrand. Wait, Winds of Magic is strong here. Good. So yeah, all y'all go here. Essentially move together for a bit. Until I'm ready to send you elsewhere. There you go. Alrighty. Easy enough. Who else still needs to move? Grawl the Blood Harvester. Yes, you are technically waiting for a Skull Cannon, but I think that doesn't mean you can't sit here and potentially get attacked by all these rats. See how well you do against them. Ooh, and if we are to get attacked by the rats, what we should also probably do is get our points spent. You've been traveling to get in that. So let's get that Gate of Khorne and the Greater Gate of Khorne. We still need items, so I'm gonna say Twisted Artifacts, though, admittedly, Thick Skin and Brass Collar would also... Nah, you know what, let's do this. Let's get Brass Collar for the enemy spell, fire resistance, rather. These guys do fire damage after all, and Rictus Storm Vermin are nothing to sneeze at. You, I believe I usually do Icon of Slaughter with, though with the Battlemaster you don't actually have a trait, so if you grab Hungering Blades, we could do that. I guess in theory we would want the same thing on all of you. Icon of Slaughter is nice, but all of you having Hungering Blades would confer the Searing Flame. Which wouldn't be too bad either, because it'll be fire weakness. It's not much, but it'll be even more fire weakness. Yeah, but it's probably... You know what? On the Blood Thrones, I think I would like the Hungering Blades. Because they're bigger targets and they have a tendency to get focused down by range stuff. So, Broadsword, Slaughter Wing, you can have this. And then just to double check, you're a menace, and you're a menace. Okay. So all three of you will have Hungering Blades. But still Locus of Wrath. Wait, no, Locus of Fury. Oh, I could have gone for Locus of Wrath on you. Yeah, that's what I did here. Ha. Alrighty, I had this planned already. Good job, me. You'll do Locus of Wrath and then Scythe upon Chap. Good. We'll spend the rest of the points in a second. I just want to make sure that... So you three are on the Blood Thrones, together with the Blood Shrines. You are going to be on foot, and therefore you can have, I think, Icon of Slaughter, but still Locus of Wrath. Lovely. Instead of Hungering Blades, and then you should be on your Juggernaut to lead the charge with the Heralds of Khorne's Fury. Lovely, alright. I think that's nicely planned out. Alright, let's get increased mobility, tough as nails for everybody. Definitely we are the elite. And everybody should have Brass Collar as a critical thing to have. We should probably move towards Chosen of Khorne, so let's go for Witness Me into... I gotta go with Fill the Chalice for the enemy fire resistance reduction. And let's get the additional campaign movement range. Thick Skin gives you a little bit of armor. You guys are fairly light on armor, and we just don't have any spare items to give you, so... Yeah. Raiders I don't really care about. I'm gonna say Hero, at least 1 point. Okay, same thing with you then. We are the elite, 1 point in Hero, 1 point in Retinue Trainer. We did... Fill the Chalice and Mark Khorne. I'm gonna say go with... Melee Defense. 23 melee defense. Now it's a little bit better, but, you know, still iffy, but this is why we want the defenses on you. Tough as nails, we are the elite hero. Retinue, Brass Collar. Wait. Witness Me, Fill the Chalice, Magic is weakness, and Chosen of Khorne. Not enough room for Thick Skin, but hopefully we can get it shortly. You should have enough room for Thick Skin, because you're an older one, but we'll see. Oh, actually, only by 1 point. Whatever. I should have just forgone Retinue Trainer instead, but all good. Alrighty, and then you. You have Hellforged Engines, you have Skull Takers. Those are the only ones that you need in this army. Actually, no, I lied. Forged in Blood is for the ranged units. And you will have some of the... Well, yeah. Though, admittedly, this is kind of terrible. Ooh, spell resistance 15% for the Skull Cannons, who cares? The AI isn't smart enough to use like a Fate of Biuna or something on them, so we don't care, or Spirit Leech spam. Brass Collar, and I guess we could do Thick Skin on you, just because. Nah, let's do Thick Skin. You have 1 point remaining, let's go Brutal Charge. Probably could have gone Call to Bloodletting for the post-battle magic item steal chance, but all good. You, I think, can't move up here, unfortunately, because... I wish I knew how far they could move past you. Alright, I'm gonna say set up in regular stance, like right here. Don't go too far. I'm a little bit worried about you getting assassinated, and I want you to have your own army, so let's not have that. Pev the Storm Ravens, you are still with Mr. Arbol, so let's move you on up.
Unsheathe the destroyer!
Yeah. And then you will perhaps have your own army as well, but again, there are a lot of lords awaiting stuff. Gulgast, how are you doing up here, buddy? There was Amble Peak, right? Yeah. We could try to go after Gragbat, though. I'm a little bit wary of if we do, will we then be unable to reach Amble Peak? Also, I see Tamarkan is here. He does not like the treaties with the Disciples of Khorne thing. Out of curiosity. Minus 31, because we were originally going to probably fight him as well, but at this point there's probably no need. As in, we just don't have the... we just don't have the time for it. I would have, but, you know. Just looking at the extra territory, if we were to trade the Maugate away from him by giving him Amble Peak... maybe that'll work. Then we should occupy Amble Peak. Ah, this is garbage. What do we have in Amble Peak? Oh, wow. Ooh, that's not bad. You know what? Maybe we should draw them out into the field? If we can... Oh, we can't. Oh, that's interesting. Go to Amble Peak, then. Pyrrhic victory, but it is in a walled settlement? No, it's a field battle. Alright, well, it's a big enough battle, I think, that it'll be worth our time. So, and Gulgas is going to fight this. We should also probably level up. Although he only has the 2 points, Blade Shield will get you Deadly Onslaught, which is always lovely to have. Cultist of Khorne, you will definitely want Thick Skin, because you have a tendency to be targeted by everything. You, Skyla, are nearly maxed out. Isn't that lovely? And out of these, I'm going to say Maim, and then into Armor. I think I value the Armor a little bit more. Rampant Ruination does nothing for us, and then we will have... if only the AI hadn't spent... Wait, was it the AI that's... Wait, what AI? I got 2 points in Spread Corruption? Why'd I do that? Huh. I guess we won't have enough points to get all of this, which is a little bit unfortunate, but whatever. That's what I get. I don't remember why I did that, but I guess we must have really needed the additional Coronate Corruption. You need to get to Deadly Onslaught, so let's get you Scarred Vet, Mr. Exalted here, and that's it. Gulgast. Away you go once more. Let's actually pop you into Summoning Stance. We got 40k out of sack in this place as well, so it should be worth a decent amount of cash. Go.
Leave none alive! Blood for the blood god! Skulls for the skull throw!
Alrighty, here we go. Once again, our Khorne Gores are the only units in this army who can Vanguard deploy, so they're going to be booking it towards the enemy army and trying to get them into combat, tying them up for the rest of the army to get ready to move on in. This is the garrison force, and we do have another army moving in to reinforce in 2 minutes, so we have that time to tear the first army apart. The Khorne Gores will be first in, but the Blood Beasts are moving in behind them, and they're reasonably quick. And should be able to follow Skyla Anfengrim into the fight rather soon to help out against the large ogres. Skyla, in the meantime, will move towards fighting the enemy ogre tyrant and the enemy ogre bruiser together. Bruisers feel like they're more heavily armored than tyrants, which is kind of interesting, but anyway. They're probably in combat a little bit more. The units of Gorby's chariots are finally making their way forward, but unfortunately they're not quite as good against ogres, which does make sense, as against other factions, because there's generally not a lot of infantry for them to run through. Though on the other hand, at least compared to regular chariots, they are free to still fight the ogres, essentially, as monstrous infantry themselves. Rather than, just trying to use impact damage as chariots would. But I digress. The enemy's left flank completely collapses as the Bestigors arrive to help the Khorne Gores and the Blood Beasts out. Frankly, this entire army is pretty much done. The enemy lord defeated now by Skyla Anfengrim. And Golgast himself moves in to start attacking the enemy bruiser, who I'd wager stands little to no chance against him. I believe the rest of their army has completely collapsed at this point, and now we just have to run them down and then get ready to reposition for the next attack. There we go, Bruiser's at half HP, and Golgast is completely fine, despite his relatively low melee defense. Say relatively, because 65 isn't all that bad. Just compared to the sort of defensive traits or stats that heroes will often have in other factions. Anyway, the enemy reinforcements are here, and oh, looks like the Fire Belly came back. Kinda makes sense, because he's got all that fire resistance. And oh wow. Skyla certainly moves towards him rather quick. The Fire Belly pops off that cascading fire cloak, but Skyla does not have he does not have fire attacks, so alas, that's not really gonna help all that much. And we'll be able to chase down that Fire Belly rather quick, I'm sure, before using Skyla's speed to get back to the main combat. And oh wow, that didn't kill him? Nope, apparently not. That did, however. Lovely. Alrighty, Skyla can return to the main combat, while Golgast will lead the charge into the fray once more. He's going to activate all his abilities, putting his weapon strength up to 1.7k, which is pretty intense. Hey, he hits harder than Skarbrand does. I feel like Skarbrand needs to hit harder, but if some random lord in a Gorby's chariot's going to hit harder than Skarby. Granted, he's not killier than Skarby at all by any means, but, you know, it's the principle of the thing. On the other hand, this serving to make Skarby angrier may be good for us. Anyway, now this time, since we didn't need to Vanguard deploy and they were damaged by virtue of being the tip of the spear, the Khorne Gors are not going to lead the charge, but rather it's the Bestigors, still with the Blood Beasts, there to anchor their lines though, and allowing the Bestigors to tank some damage for the more fragile Blood Beasts, who have relatively low melee defense as well. I believe the enemy lord has pretty much been defeated by Golgast at this point, and, you know, the giant pile of Nobblers around him have met the same fate. As Golgast attacks the Lord and the Nobblers alike. And is up to 96 kills. Ooh, takes a few daggers to the face, but by the looks of it, it's not going to matter much. 38 missile resistance, and 18 ward. 5 physical, not too bad. Not all that threatening to him, on top of 169 armor, mind you. And with that, by the looks of it, the reinforcement army is on the verge of collapse. The Goldtooth is pretty much done, and as well he should be with his useless defeat trade. Income from trade tariffs. Alrighty, there we go. With that, it looks like the enemy army is done. We'll take the opportunity to try to chase down everything we can out of the reinforcing force, because obviously they are, well, reinforcing and not out of the garrison. And I expect everything except for the artillery pieces that immediately got off the battlefield will be caught and obliterated. There we go. Very, very nice. The monkey business will continue until morale improves. Although our morale is pretty good at this point, I think. Golgast always does pretty darn well. I've actually been very impressed with the Gorby's chariot mounts for lords. I would expect them to function, well, I originally expected them to function more like a chariot, but because they're the Gorby's chariots, they attack just as well as the regular Gorby's chariots do, like units, as opposed to mounts when fighting, and the Khornate lords on Gorby's chariots are perfectly capable of taking down enemy lords and single entities and stuff despite being on a chariot, which is just fantastic. Frankly, it makes me want to put more lords on these chariots. I'll think about it. Anyway, what do we have here? 2 Nobbler scrap launchers survive, but otherwise this place is kind of doomed. I guess we sack it, so we can chase down what remains here. I was going to probably trade Amble Peak for that other location. Oh, we should also probably have ownership of it for a little while if we want to maybe confederate. Yeah, alright. Or vassalize. Okay, sack first, so that we have the cash. There might be some buildings we want to build. I assume we won't be able to chase down Gragbat. We could chase down Chungus, and we probably would have enough movement range to... Oh. Ha! Okay, wait. If this kills our movement range, we might not be able to take this before these guys take it, which would be kind of annoying. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have done that, because now he's gonna grab Amblepeak. Oh, damn me. Alright, well, we just need to make sure that we get Karakazor, I guess. I guess there's also Orky territory up here, and they aren't too fond of us, so, yeah. Also, I'm now realizing that we... actually thought these guys got destroyed by Slaanesh, but apparently not. I suppose with the rivalry between Khorne and Slaanesh, them being obliterated by the Cathans would amuse Khorne, so I'm not mad about it. Anyway, we will go this way past Amblepeak then. And move to Karakazorn. Yeah, alright, only way to do it. Next up, who do we still have left to move? Bloodbound, oh, I already moved you, what am I talking about? Kuchar. Yeah, alright, let's Kuchar some stuff. Xerixil, declare war. Don't call allies to help because they'll be dead. A moment, actually. Did I forget missions again? I did not. You just... Okay, we have a mission for Teclis, and no mission, really. Alright, maybe we do declare war on... Yeah, but then Malagor is here, and I don't want him... don't ask allies to help, whatever. At least not right now. Alright, then we will attack Xerixil. Can you... No, you can't. Alright, go to Xerixil.
Ready to face your doom.
Like, so it's a Pyrrhic victory, and Kuchar, I believe you need the magical damage, because you have the Obsidian Blade, which does not confer magical damage. Alright, be a small fight to start the day, but this army isn't complete and using a bunch of units that are sort of temporary units in it, so for now, and we'll just, it's good as it is, go. Alrighty, here we go, I assure you, we intended to leave none alive. Here we go, the blood hunt rides once more, and I've always liked the idea of using skin wolves together with the incarnate elemental of beasts, so it's now here to act as the anchoring point. We have the skin wolves, armored as they are, who are going to be leading the charge with the Karanak, the Hounds of the Blood Hunt, and the rest of the doggos, supported by blood shrines. And then behind all of them, we have the chariot piles, both gore beast and regular. The chariots were kind of temporarily put in this army, but they'll work for our purposes here. They can certainly keep up, and that's the main thing. Now, since we outnumber the enemy army, they've only got a 3/4 stack rather than a full stack here. We're not going to bother to do anything fancy and get around their flanks or anything to tie up and stop their range units from firing. We're just going to directly smash through their lines and, well, attack them. And if that allows them to fire more at our troops, well, them's the breaks. And by the looks of it, they are seeking to fight us in the tree line, which actually is a good choice here because obviously we have a lot of large units and units that would normally be relying on their mobility. Now the Quarrelers and the Thunderers start to fire. Looks like the first of our units of armored skinwolves lose about 30% of their HP and damage before they close the distance and start tearing those poor Dowie to shreds. Of course, again, since we're not tying up the enemy range units, the Thunderers and such will continue to fire. But they can only fire for so long as the rest of our army has not yet broken through the melee line, which has lost about 20 to 30% of its HP on the charge. And I don't expect we'll survive the ministrations of all these various units for all that long. Alright, tactically there is absolutely nothing to say here, I suppose. The Lord Kuchar will be going after the enemy Lord, if he can reach him, and by the looks of it he can, but they're actually about even in terms of level, because, well, Kuchar is newly recruited here. And then Karanak will be going after the Thane, wheresoever it is in here. Ooh, we've also got the big boy coming in, and the Incarnate Elemental is going to pop off that Howl. Howl of the Great Beast, minus 10 melee attack and defense. Oh, looks like a nice spin to win from the enemy Demon Slayer, but down to about half of his HP, and not looking like he's going to carry the day against Kuchar. Alright, Incarnate Elemental, you're in the way. Alright, by the looks of the bounce power shifted about 90% in our favor. The enemy's main line has at this point completely collapsed, and while the enemy lord has been executed by Kuchar, the enemy's right flank is pretty much done for, as well as it appears that there were not as many enemy melee units to protect the enemy range there. And they've been overrun by dogs and wolves and chariots and whatnot. Alright, and with that, only the units of the left flank remain, but they will not remain for long as the dwarfs shatter and the battle is ours. Unfortunate that it's a rather dark battle, but, well, I assume we'll get some brighter maps as we head towards either Athelloren or the Empire. Alrighty, there we go. Unsurprisingly, no significant losses there. And the poor Clan Angren dwarfs had the ill luck of being in the way of the blood hunt, so they were always going to get trampled. We got solid damage on our Gorby's chariots, and, well, frankly, by the looks of it, pretty much everybody did well, or at the very least, everybody got to participate because we sort of slammed into the enemy army as a big blob, rather than bothering to do anything fancy like getting around their flanks and stuff, just for entertainment's sake. Lost one of the armored skin wolves, and they had to back off as they started to take damage, but that's because they were the sort of tip of the spear, and this took a bunch of hits from the enemy thunderers and range units, corridors, whatever. Anyway, tempted to take the 42k. Once again, we're at minus 13k per turn, and since we're still recruiting, that's going to keep rising. I hate to stop here at Xerexil, but it's a decent enough chunk of change that I think it's worth our time. You could just occupy Xerexil, I guess. It's not like we don't have a lot of skulls to spare right now, and then you can repair, and then you can go into, well, still trophy racks, I guess. I suppose any of the newly claimed territories could probably build defensive structures now, since there's probably going to be a limit to what we want to actually occupy. Like I said, I'm happy to either raise or leave a lot of the territories here now to the Chaos Dwarfs, rather than, you know, add additional admin to where it's not really needed anymore. If this was going to be a world conquest, obviously we would have kept taking territory, but since the campaign is moving towards its end, we have to limit what we take. And just try to get as many battles as possible, but anyway, I'm just taking a look at what else is possible here. I think that was it for this turn, yes? By the looks of it, it is. So, let's do building real quick. I don't think there's much since we did most of it last turn. Hey, Khemri's up to tier 5. Beautiful. Huh. If we can wait out the time, we might actually be able to get the flying army up and running. I would like that, I gotta say. Also, we're building the forge here. I'm wondering if it's might not be necessary anymore. The Jugger plants still are, but the arsenals maybe not. Let's go for the defensive structures instead. Skullcarver's about, you're going for the Cornate Calefactor. Well, at the very least, we'll go defenses here at the sort of edge of our territory, though admittedly there aren't any here. Oh, there are in the Caverns of Sotek. I guess if we canceled the arsenal here at Sotek's Trail, there would still be defenses here. Right, just because of the presence of these guys, but I don't really want to redo all the buildings of all of this. Actually, you know what? Screw this. No defenses at the Caverns of Sotek. Just build another Cornate Calefactor, and if it dies, it dies. That's life. Wait a second. We already have... No, we do not have Cornate Calefactor there, so we're good. You. Go for the Infernal Set. No. Barrack Var priority, because it's the capital. And then had Furs... it doesn't matter. Furs do confer the missile resistance faction wide, even if it's small. Tributes. Alright, you're fine. Infernal Citadel, Ivory Road. Let's upgrade the Great Hall of Greases for that gold. That's an easy choice. And that's it. Alrighty, you cannot move, so you will just go past Gragbat. We'll ignore Amble Peak, and hopefully everything will be fine. Alright, skip damaged building, ignore. Commandment available. We'll go for the blood tributes here. This place will need a defensive structure because it'll need to defend itself in case it gets attacked. Oh, we have no defenses out of the cultist camp or the port. Yeah, it'll definitely need a defensive structure. Alright, fair enough. And now we can end the turn. Let's see what we're looking at. I'm gonna hope that the Kislevites sally out of Prague, but if they don't, we'll just auto-resolve it. It's too small of a battle for our ball to consider, considering the battles he fought against Boris Ursus. At least back up in the Chaos Wastes. Though I am glad that he did get confederated by Tsarina Katrin, rather than simply disappear. Alright, and the looks of it, they did not sally out. Alright, fine, fair enough, game. Let's see, Ally begins outpost construction. Wounded Karna... Who? Oh, that was one of our new ones. Oh, for the love of... You frickin' Ironclaw orcs. You know what? This is why you die. Alright, now you. Vashnar, you should move up to Migdal von Galbarak. How many territories do these guys have, actually? Let's see. Province secured, Western Border Princess. Oh, nice. Let's go for the blood tributes and upgrade you immediately and you immediately. And Blood Host something, Gates of Wrath being constructed. Sword of Cain claimed by Gandrel. Zvorak and Verdanos claimed as well. Adds a further bloodthirster. Someone in the comments a couple of episodes ago asked why the previous blood host that we got was not led by an exalted bloodthirster, which blood host summoned via the Skull Throne will be led by an exalted bloodthirster. Ah, okay, that's why. So basically, that only applies to those summoned by this ability, I take it. Not by raising stuff. If you do this, then you get an exalted bloodthirster leaning, but otherwise, no. And I don't want to do that right now because we still have capacities. Also, Skarbrand, you're losing your bloodletting, ain't you? Yeah. I'll need you to get some fighting going. And Malagor, oh, he's going to fight the Wood Elves, isn't that cute? Moxia, are you able to reach Belagar here? You are not. I guess we'll move towards Karakazor. We could also just straight up occupy it. Go this way for now. We'll see if Belagar wants to fight you. I wanted to go to Fort Saul, but I wouldn't mind being here either. Do I want to waste the... You know what, let's go close to Karakazor. We'll see how Belagar reacts to this. Either he attacks us or he doesn't. Kuhar. I'm just going to attack these guys as well. They're kind of on the way, but at the same time, maybe we should take out the dwarfs from both directions.
The crew are restless.
I'll think about it. Oh, and there's also the rats at Miragliana. Wait, there are... Yeah, there's iron here. Not that we really need it at this point, but, you know, it's the principle of the thing. Anyway, Kuka, go down here for now. And, hey, hello. And you're fighting the... Actually, who are you fighting? You're fighting High Elf Sea Patrol and Tulzen. Good for you. Good for you. You don't like us very much, though, do you? Alrighty. Now, you are building the... Alright, recruit a Great Chaos Dragon, another Skull Cannon. I was hoping for another Soul Grinder, but alas, not available as yet. And, wait, did I build 4 Chosen? I wanted 4 Chosen, I did not. But they have to be built here in Death Gorge. We can't build them here, can we? No, so we need a Temporary Lord. Also you, Tamar Godslayer. That's certainly a name for a level 1 or a level 5, but whatever. You go northward. If we want 4 Chosen, we'll have to recruit them here. Anybody useful? Powerful, Secret of Battle is not bad. Minus the fact that it's Khorne Demon units. I'll take Secret of Battle for now. I might delete you later, but we'll see. Go into Death Gorge, and then go into Dominating Presence and Root Marcher, and then grab us 4 Chosen of Khorne with dual axes. I have my reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Alrighty. Then, Skarby. I guess you're just gonna go this way. You can, in theory, raise Grenstad. Maybe that'll allow you to recover enough points to move to Migdal von Galbarak. We were always going to declare war upon the Imperials anyway. You do have Blood God's Vigor. And, oh, you should get Unflinching Soldiers. Yes, Unflinching Soldiers, please, which is what one of your points were being saved for. Also, before I forget, you... Alright, so which one are you? You are Battlemaster. Okay, good. So, Eddie, I would like you to go to the high place, like so. And I would like the Battlemaster in your army while you go join Vashnar. And, oh, there's nothing here. I remember raising it, I'm just surprised that the rats didn't recolonize it. Alright, fine. I go into combat trials for... I know it's a little bit of attrition, but it is what it is. I want the mana to come back, and if we get ambushed, we get ambushed. And I'm now also realizing that these rats rather... Oh, they're going to Ashridge Mountains with all their armies, rather than moving towards... You cowards. Cowards. Black Iron Mine, please. Liv is still there, though, with all of those storm vermin. Oh, that should be fun. Alrighty. We're definitely doing that. Bloodbound. I would like you to move in March stance, so that you can go past it, because I don't want you to die. In theory, I would like you to be here, but I think you won't be able to reach far enough. I don't think these guys could punish you for it, though. And you'll want to join Grawl, and we'll also want to claim Black Iron Mine for ourselves. Alright, this should be a fun fight. I really want to see how, without Skarbrand, the B positives and the Skull Cleaver, well, every single one in this army is named, how they handle those storm vermin. Now, what we do have to watch out for is those warp grinders. We've seen them do a lot of work in the past. So try to take them out before they do too much damage to the vulnerable bloodletters. Go.
For the blood god! Skulls for the skull throne!
Alrighty, here we go. Love the brazen armor of the Heralds of Khorne's Fury. Can't figure out whether I like them or the Skull Crusher Regiment of Renown more. They've got the black and brass as opposed to just straight up brass. Both really good options. And again, if only there was an army painter that would allow us to do that ourselves. That would be nice for any additional units of blood crushers, rather, that we were to get into this army. And obviously, this is the Bloodletter army, Skarbrand's original force, or at least the one that he started with, since Bloodletters are a lot cheaper than Chaos Warriors, and thusly every single unit in this army is a named unit. And we got a few more coming in as well to help out. And I think we are going to need them, as the enemy army does outnumber us, and that is not even counting the clan rat summons from the menace below. Not that I would imagine those are going to be all that threatening to bloodletters. Anyway, we're going to start the day off with our single skull cannon. Supposed to be 2 skull cannons, but that one's on the way. Going after the enemy units of warp grinders. They are obviously the biggest threat by far to the bloodletters, though admittedly the giant piles of Rictus storm vermin, especially with halberds, 101 armor, 67 42 mal attack and defense, weapon strength, and 25 bonus versus large, are going to be very scary units for our blood reapers and probably our blood crushers to deal with, and our blood shrines, our blood everything. All right, so we'll see how we do. And we even have a couple of Blood Reapers on foot to lead the foot soldiers. We have one on the Juggernaut to lead the, other Juggernauts. And then, of course, we have the ones on the Blood Shrines, plus the regular Blood Shrines to offer support. The nice thing is, all told, we have 110 spell resistance on these guys. So any spell work coming in from the enemy, assuming that they actually have mages, but the Warp Lightnings are not going to be all that threatening to us, which they normally would be. Anyway, I think it's now time to speed this up as we head back towards our main line with our skull cannons. Unfortunately for the enemy, it looks like the Plague Claw Catapult was not accurate enough to be of any real threat to us. Unfortunately for us, while we did manage to damage 1 Warp Grinder, the others are more or less fine at this point. I'm going to try to fire at them a little bit more. Back off and fire again. But it's time to get the battle started, and who else but the Juggernauts to start the day? There we go, rushing through those rats. And just gotta make sure that while we do rush them, like so, we immediately peel off and get away from the rats that are the warp grinders, because if these guys get trapped amidst storm vermin with halberds, they are going to get torn to shreds. And they're a lot more fragile than the Skull Crushers are, thanks to their demonic instability, but at the same time, they are anti-infantry, so there is that. Oh, huh. This guy... Huh. These guys almost look like they have like an exposed bone skull sort of thing for their faces. It's kind of neat. But for now, their movement has been stayed, and they're going to just fight there for a while. They have, in fact, been trapped against these Rictus Stormvermin with halberds. So we're going to pop Relentless Rage on them so that they cannot lose models, even if they do lose HP. The first of the enemy Warp Grinders have arrived, so we have the Warp Quake and Snare annoying our Bloodletters. All the while, those stupid nets come down on everybody. Can't wait to just knock these Skaven out. Might even just use the Khornate ability to raise Skaven Blight just because I'm so annoyed at the frickin' net. But I digress. The main battle is joined, and it's Bloodletters facing off against Stormvermin. Obviously, in the same way that the Stormvermin with halberds are very much a threat to our Blood Crushers and our Blood Reapers, the Bloodletters will absolutely tear them to shreds, as this is conversely a bad matchup. So lots of rock, paper, scissors, effectively, happening in this one. If only the image of the Bloodletters cutting them apart wasn't ruined by that stupid net. Yes, I will continue complaining about it. Anyway, looks like one of our Blood Reapers has decided to close with the enemy assassin, who, by the looks of it, is having a tough time blocking or dodging those hits. 79 melee attack. I'm assuming the Blood Reaper will also take a decent amount of damage because they have very little in the way of melee defense, but otherwise it's fine. I love this sort of hectic, chaotic melee as the battle is distributed over a huge portion of the map. Everybody's fighting everywhere, as one does. Though it can't last for too much longer. While we are taking damage, the enemy Lord is out of the picture. The enemy artillery has now been tied up by our Heralds of Khorne's Fury, which admittedly did lose 10 models to the Rictus Stormvermin. But the enemy's center and right flank has now completely collapsed, and only the left flank remains. And sooner rather than later, the rats will be surrounded and dismantled and destroyed rather by the Bloodletters. We did have to not quite withdraw off the map, but back away one of our Blood Reapers, one of our Heralds here, where other Bloodbound is down to about half HP. And it looks like this little Blood Reaper got pretty badly beat up too. But that's being surrounded for you. I'm actually surprised that the Foot Lord, or the Foot Hero, no mount is what I'm getting at, and got so damaged as well. But not a big deal. At the end of the day, the Rictus Stormvermin fail under the demonic assault, and with that, this battle comes to a close. I do imagine we will encounter them again, and the Rictus Stormvermin spam will continue until we raise Crookback Mountain. Alright, ooh, another Engineer's Knapsack. Very nice find. That'll work nicely for Pike and Shot. They need all the restock that they can get. Otherwise, a very nice fight. The Stormvermin certainly being very much a threat to all of our Blood Shrines and Blood Reapers, and it was entertaining seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Blood Reapers of various kinds, 2 Heralds, all on one battlefield, and the giant pile of Bloodletters. Bloodletters supremacy carries the day. Here we will occupy the place as it is because we need to get that iron back up and running, and of course, well, we get to keep it, but unfortunately it is back at tier 1, but what can you do? Alright, Blood Throne for Silkar. Who the heck is Silkar? That's one of you guys. Okay, that's fine. We'll decide what to do with you later.
Lord of Khorne.
And you cannot reach Grawl, but you can get a little bit closer to Bloodbound rather, if you like. In fact, just in case, to be a little bit safer, grab this for Bloodbound here. Alright. And then you will transfer that, and then we need a few more turns of upgrades, i.e. you to get to the Blood Crusher capacity. 3 turns, not that long. And the battlefields. Get that bloodthirster capacity. We may as well build the kennels for additional slaughter brutes. I say additional kind of jokingly. And what else can we build at Galbaraz? Wow, basically nothing, right? We could do... Isn't there something here that will give us additional recruitment? Huh? Within the territory? Foreign corruption. Construction time for buildings, funnily enough, would have helped, but right now is not necessary. Does nothing for cost, upkeep production. Huh. Is there really no building that gives us an increase to how many units we can recruit out of the territory per turn? Maybe it's one of these buildings that does it. Ah, there it is. Foundry of Skulls, which we already have here. Therefore, it's useless to us. I guess we just build the Demonic Locust, but frankly, it's probably not needed in this place either. I guess just go for the War Crucible. Go for Growing Rage for the Public Order, so we don't have to deal with it. Alrighty. Anyway. Skarby and Co. So Skarby, you're gonna go this way. This guy can go far, but perhaps that should not be surprising. Yeah, Skarby, you're gonna go this way with what you got. And everybody else is gonna follow you until they've got their own stuff. You can march stance now. You got mana, at least for now. You need to, I think, go into combat trials until you're maxed out, plus you're waiting for your other troops. Kagan, I genuinely don't remember what I was gonna put into your army, but I think you were just sort of an extra lord in case, well, in case we wanted to. The more important stuff is in this army, but it's gonna take a little bit to get here. We could risk Mads mapping it, but I'm not sure that... Because we get bad luck with at least one, even one time, then it'll potentially set us back. You know, let's at least get away from this place, because, yeah. Alrighty, frickin' Mads map. Every time I use it, I regret it. And I never learn. I never learn. You could go to Zlatlan and... Wait, can delivery evolve occupied from here? No. Then maybe it would be better to move towards the Fortress of Dawn and go back to Zlatlan after. And if the greenskins take it, we just kill the greenskins. Alright, so you're going this way. Delivery evolve, you're going here. Follow along. Huh, what's the likelihood that we could put you into ambush stance here? Yeah. And also, ambush doesn't feel very corny. Well, let's not. You delivery evolve, however, will want to go into combat trials. I wonder, does combat trials reset when, or the combat trials, the mana, does the mana reset if we are to evolve this guy? I guess we'll find out. I probably forget that I was wanting to find out by then, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, yeah. Decisive victory, low casualties. I think we'll auto-resolve this. It's not worth our time, and then we will raise it. You know what? Sack it. If these guys want to grab it, it's their business. I do want Help It, though, and potentially Kislev, but let's do Help It first because it's a green territory, and it's also a little bit closer. So Arbal, go here to raid Help It. You can... Ah, Borsursus is back. We have his defeat rate on both of these guys, though, so it's not like it matters over much. Let's do this and this, like so. Holy Prague as it is. And Volksgrad will most likely trade to these guys, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it right now. Just for a little bit. And these guys did indeed take Amble Peak. I shouldn't have gone after that one lord, but oh well. I'm not surprised. Oh, and that counts as trespassing. It should have like a 1 turn's grace. Kind of ridiculous that counts as trespassing. We were standing there, you colonized it from under us and start saying immediately, oh, you're trespassing. Anyway, Bloodwrath? Who are you? Battlemaster. You're not going into this army, right? I don't think there's anything in this army that I want to get rid of, so you're going this way. Another one of these just got killed, didn't he? But whatever. What do we have here? Oh, we need more Blood Reaper capacity. Go figure. I don't care for Blood Seekers, so we'll delete you. Like so. Brawler is maybe not the worst one in the world. What are you again? You're a Slaughterer. I wanted 4 of these for a specific army, and I'm too lazy to look for skills, so let's get Brawler and then we'll just see. And then what about Cultists? We have Skullbell, terrible. Dripping with Blood is fine, but again, not great. I guess we could do some Brawlers and keep them on foot if we really wanted to. I guess the other option would be to grab a couple of the Skullbelt ones and keep them on foot as well. Sort of in the blob. Rather than the bleedy ones. Frankly, you would still probably get more mileage out of bleed. Yeah, I'm gonna say dripping with blood. Alright, get you guys on field.
The blood god.
We have plenty of capacity after all. Alright, that's everybody. We have one turn until Tzeentch is no longer Ascendant. I'm a little bit worried that Khorne's Glare will disappear, so maybe we occupy Karak-Azor. Although in theory it'll just self-colonize eventually anyway. Oh, actually, speaking of, we have the Skull Throne. Oh, we could... What can we do here that would be of the most use to us? I guess we just go for auto-colonization. I like so. And then if Khorne is Ascendant, we will... Ooh, I don't want to lose out on Slaughter Incarnate, but... I guess we could, in theory, give somebody... I mean, Khorne was just Ascendant, so the likelihood of it being Ascendant again is low. I think. I actually don't know whether it's random or how it works at all, but anyway. Missions are re-upped. Okay, so I should have checked those, but fortunately we have... Dorian here, we'll take you. Legion of Asgore, you want Teclis? We'll give you Teclis. Worldwalkers, you want Dorian or Teclis? How about... Apparently Dorian is worth more than Teclis. This amuses me. Alright, Dorian it is. These guys only have 2 settlements, and they will soon be wiped out after all. Alright, the rest of that looks good to me, so let's do building. I believe I'd unassigned skill points, building upgrade available. Okay, we'll do the building. Commandment available, that's what I wanted to take a look at. You go to blood tributes. Alright. What's the likelihood that these guys attack Ash Ridge Mountains? It's defended well. I could try it. I could put a temporary lord in there, but eh. I mean, I guess we could. Get a blood speaker of the Muller variety, I guess. Put him in there. Like so. And we'll see. Alrighty, damage building. We will repair, and we will repair, and then we will rebuild. You're a trophy rack, so you're as fine as you are. Alright. Building. Not gonna take long at all, because we've done most of the building we need to faction-wide already. And most of the time we just build Jugger plants anyway. Where are we to deny Jugger plants? Ooh, I'm curious as to... Okay, well, let's end the turn. I want to see what our research rate is going to be at by the turn's end. See if it's starting to get to a decent level. Also, I want to see how close we are to that Slaughter Brute building. You Jugger plant, Crucible of Delay... Oh, wait. Here, this is the edge of the territory, so we'll build the defenses. This is not the edge of the territory, so we're free to Khornate Califactor it up. You Jugger plant, Howling Citadel. Was there a reason I was demonic gathering it? Oh, right, because you're kind of bordering these guys. I guess in theory we should do the same with the Tower of Torment. I did not do the same at Bloodfire Falls, but it is admittedly... wait, Bloodfire Falls. Burning Monolith is defended. Monolith of Festerlung is not. Yeah, whatever. I don't think they're gonna attack us. I think they're gonna be way too scared too, let's face it. Alrighty, anyway, let's upgrade these trophy racks, because we still need more post-battle loot, which is why we're sacking stuff instead of sculling it. And Caverns of Sotek, I guess we could build a foundry here. Free skull cannon capacity. Oh, wait, we don't have the Khornate Califactor. Go for the Califactor. Alrighty. Abattoir into, obviously, the Skull Harvester / Jugger Plant. We can also go for the upgrade, I guess here, because it has the Infernal Harbor. And then Jugger Plant for you, Eastern Border Princes, Trophy Chamber, Death Pass, we've got Wood. Lanesha Giggle. Trophy Chamber, Iron Rock. You don't look like you need defenses, therefore we're free to build the Skull Harvester. You can go for the Infernal Citadel, and then you can go for the Trophy Racks. Ivory Road. The gold is the thing that we need the most, so the other stuff doesn't really matter, although admittedly we may want to get defenses up and everywhere here, as I said earlier. And then you attack definitely the cultist camp. Yes. Alrighty. The rest of that looks good. We'll ignore the Unholy Manifestation. And, well, if Khorne is Ascendant again, then Khorne is Ascendant again. We'll just see. And, they're running. You pathetic cowards. You're really abandoning the Fortress of Dawn? Throw out the Unclean. I'm surprised that you're still alive. You have 2 settlements and, Oh, I take it they're here? Probably just wipe you out. No non-aggression pact. I didn't even really want to do the vassalization or non-aggression pact with the Chaos Dwarfs, but, you know, they have some units. Alrighty, World Walkers, I don't think are going to betray us now. Wow, they are taking a long time to move. But they are one of the most powerful factions on the map, so I guess it makes sense. Alrighty, Supervisor, Constructor, Gates of Wrath, adds one further bloodthirster on creation. Yeah, it's Slaanesh Ascendant, so we're fine. Karakazor is ours. Next up, we could go through this, but I think the only one that really matters is Unrelenting Conflict for the 30% speed for all Bloodhost units. 10% melee attack is really not that much. I mean, actually for Khorne it's okay because we have very high melee attack, but 1 turn's initial Bloodthirst doesn't matter. Weapon strength plus 10, 30% charge bonus is okay. 10% armor, not 10 armor. 10% armor is terrible because this is effectively 3 armor or 4 armor for all of our bloodletters. Who cares? Bloodhosts. Yeah, no, that doesn't matter. We'll go through favored one on denying the warp after Unrelenting Conflict, and then we'll switch to the armaments instead. I think that's the way to go. Alright, and the other thing I wanted to see was, what are we at here? 430 research rate. Not bad. It still would take 2 turns to research the higher tier things like Repel the Honorless and Living Fire. But the lower tier ones will still only take the 1 turn because they're 300 or 400 base research cost, I believe. I wish I could see what these were. But I guess it doesn't matter right now. Anyway. Actually, anyway, I think this is probably going to... Oh, right, I was going to see if we... I was going to take Grenstad with Vashnar Slaughter Call, but that's alright. Oh, actually, speaking of... If we can complete the mission for the Chaos Source, Major Rager, can you... I don't know whether you can. Huh, wait a moment. If we sack the Fortress of Dawn, then we occupy Fortress of Dawn. We might be able to... Wait, okay, go here. Like this. Delivery Evolve. Go into regular... It doesn't really matter what stance you're in. Go here. Wait. Then... You... Go to Fortress of Dawn like so. Then you... Auto-resolve it. And then sack it. Then use the port to... Huh? Oh, wait, no. Use this guy to occupy it. Then use the port to kill Teclis. Like so. He basically has no army, but this will complete our missions for both Dorian and Teclis. Like so. Fantabulous. Alrighty, and then you can get, I don't know, Devour Captives, doesn't really matter. There you go, wins of magic power, reserve capacity plus 50 for Lord's Army. Yeah, doesn't really matter much for Khorne, but there we go. All those mission successfuls means 2 things. You go here. We'll go for Zlatlan. Huh, I wonder if landing would be better. Maybe. Look here. I guess we could have grabbed the Remnants of Battle here, but whatever. Just land. Alright. You'll get a little bit more mana that way. Then what I wanted to do was double check any additional lord like you, sir. Bloodspeaker indeed. Legion of Asgore, yes, we will have enough to recruit 2 more Fireglaves for Vashnar. So Vashnar, go quickly take Migdal van Galbereich and then sit there and recruit your last 2 Fireglaves. And we'll get you your last 2 heroes and we'll be good. This is garbage and not worth fighting. And we will, I guess, occupy it. Alrighty. And we'll have you grab Karak for the iron, but only after you get a little bit of... Fireglaves. Fireglaves. Like so. And we'll still have enough for 1.5 Skullcrackers or something, so that'll be nice. Anyway, with that complete, I think I am going to call this particular episode here. This is a good time to call it. Next time, we'll probably have Moxia Scion Slayer move towards Belagar and see about taking out all of the, well, the last territory, well, second last territory, I guess, of the dwarfs, but I would expect Clan Angren to be fully destroyed next time around. Oh, wow, Kingsglaive has fallen to the undead here. Huh, that's kind of neat. Good for them. Good for them indeed. We may reward them by taking their skulls. And ooh, I see Oshiotla is moving towards us. A decent likelihood that he declares war on us shortly. Fate River's crevasse does have a defensive structure though, so it would be difficult for him. And besides, after we take Zlatlan, it should be pretty easy to move towards the lizards and do some lizard fighting. Plus the rat fighting, we still have plenty to do of here, as these guys, Clan Rictus has done fairly well for themselves. And we'll see about occupying their territory next time. So stay tuned for more Khorne. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how long this campaign continues to run for. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.